Good afternoon, welcome. We are going to begin. This panel is Youth Justice Panel 2, and we have one speaker today. Our second speaker is not able to join, unfortunately. Our speaker is Gamal Willis, who is Director of Court Advocacy and Outreach at Avenues for Justice in New York. And I'm giving the floor to Gamal.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Once again, my name is Gamal Willis. I am here at Avenues for Justice. I am the Director of Court Advocacy and Outreach here at Avenues for Justice. And it's a pleasure to talk about something that I'm quite passionate about. It's about juvenile justice and being able to help our young people, being able to help them with various resources and like so that they don't go back into the system. We're proud of the fact that 95% that come through our doors do not go back in the criminal justice system. How do we do it? Well, that's what I'd like to share with you this afternoon. So at this time, we will provide a slideshow, hopefully you all can see, and it talks a little bit about the things that we do, and then at the end, we will open it up to questions. But once again, a little bit more about myself. I've been at Avenues for Justice now 5 years. Prior to that, I was with another organization for about 18 years that dealt with those who have been incarcerated within the criminal justice system and helping them out in various aspects of that. That's had the privilege of coming over here to Avenues for Justice. But giving some background of Avenues for Justice, they've been around since 1979. And it started off in the Lower East Side. There, the founder, Angel Rodriguez, was able to help young people within the community navigate the criminal justice system. Thus, he was able to buy a building, in fact, a building that I'm in right now, that he was able to then have a safe space that our young people could come, receive resources, workshops, and not be able to go back into the system, which is excellent. So in 1979, it began. It was named the Andrew Glover Youth Program because there was an officer that used to be within this community that used to connect with the young people. Unfortunately, he was killed in line of duty, and thus the name had the Andrew Glover Youth Program. And about 7 years ago, we've changed the name to Avenues for Justice. And excuse me with my technical difficulties. And our mission is threefold. Our first mission is to intervene to divert and reclaim young people from their lives of crime, showing them a different way. Also provide an overloaded court system with reliable alternative to incarceration. Particularly since the pandemic, we found that our courts have been overloaded. What better way than to help by helping our young people not be incarcerated or warehoused, but rather receive the resources necessary to build their lives. And when those two things are done, well, it makes New York a safer place. And so we're open 24 hours, 7 days a week. And we'll talk more about our court advocates because they are really the lifeblood of the organization. They work with our young people between the ages of 13 to 24, whenever they need help. And that could be 24/7. As was mentioned, we serve those who are 13 to 24, those who have court issues or court involved, as well as those returning citizens from various detention centers, as well as those who are preventive or at risk, living in various communities, and we want to catch them before they have to go into the system. We are now in all 5 boroughs. We work with all genders, and we also deal with Spanish and English speakers. But what makes us successful is 8 different cores, and that's what we're going to discuss, and how we're able to be successful in not having our young people go back into the system. Well, first, we give participants a second chance. It's vital. We've learned, and it's been established scientifically, that a young person's brain does not develop fully until the age of 25. So they make bad mistakes. Should that be held against them for the rest of their life? Well, here at Avenues for Justice, we feel that that should not. In fact, we want to make sure that we can give them resources and opportunities and expose them to things that can change them, and thus they can pass it on to generation after generation. So a second chance, we definitely believe in. And in fact, that's the foundation of our organization. So that's the first principal core that we have. Our second is our programs are based in communities that need these various resources. As I was mentioned at the very beginning, this program started in the Lower East Side in the 70s. This was a time where many people felt that it was burnt down, that was hopeless. So Angel Rodriguez didn't believe it. No, he built his organization here that thus he's able to help these young people to prosper from. We also have a center in Harlem. That also too had a stigma at one time. But yet we continue to provide those necessary means for our young people at that time. And so thus it builds a stronger community. And most of our court advocates live within the various communities that we serve, thus giving that personal touch. And we're proud, and we feel that that is one of the reasons why we've been so successful for so many years. The relationship between a court advocate and a participant is key. A lot of times our young people have been to various systems. And most organizations, what they'll have is a court advocate or court representative that represents a young person in court. Then they have a case manager that deals with the day-to-day, making sure things go well. And then there's a service provider. So there's three different people in most organizations that a young person has to go to. And they experience that throughout. But here at Avenues for Justice, we feel that a bond needs to be had, not only with the young person, but also with their parents. So a court advocate fills all those needs. Yes, they meet that young person, whether they're in court or whether they meet us at our centers. They do an individualized action plan. They map it out with that young person. And then they accompany them to court. Or they'll accompany them to whatever services they might need, whether that might be housing, getting back into school. That court advocate works with that young person. Thus builds that bond. It also builds the bond, as I mentioned, with the family. So the family is able to have somebody that they can talk to. Perhaps they need services. Perhaps there's something that's going on at home that our court advocate needs to have. That's how we deal with that. And so it's an honest and trusting bond that is built over time. And that has been successful for us. That's our third core principle. Our fourth is our program is structured around an individual action plan. So when we get a referral, we look at all the paperwork necessary, whether it be court papers, whether it might be their school's transcript, whatever we can get, we want to read that. Then we meet with the young person. We also will meet with the parent individually, so we can get the full picture of what is necessary so that we can identify and aid that young person so that they don't have to go back through the system. That has proven to be quite successful throughout the years in that regard. Once we identify it, we sit down with that young person and we address the steps that we need to take for them to be successful. Also, what is interesting, that's something that we do that others don't, is once the court mandate is over, that doesn't end our services or our time with that young person. No, we want to continue to work with that young person throughout so that they can be successful. It's been more than 13, 14, 17 years that they've had these various issues. So it's going to take more than 6 months to a year to address these issues. So we encourage the young person to stay with us, even past their time. Our fifth core principle is participants must be accountable. That's one of the things that we do. So with job readiness, we make sure that they're on time for the interviews. They're on time for our various workshops. We go over the steps that they necessarily need to do with their mandate needs. It was interesting, and we'll talk more about this, is we have a legal rights responsibility workshop. It was amazing to me how many young people have been in and have been through the criminal justice system, but they don't know certain terms. Felony, misdemeanor. They don't understand their mandates. We try to explain that to them. And then we hold them accountable, as well as ourselves accountable as far as what they do. And this has given our young people ownership of what they need to do. Our sixth core principle is the duration and intensity of a program depends on the needs and development of the participant. As was mentioned, we do an individualized action plan. But things change. Goals might change. We try to make sure that we help them to the best of their ability. Thus, it has helped us to understand too that, as was mentioned, we work far more than just their mandate. Rather, the average time a young person stays with us is about 3 years. So that gives us a gist of what's going on and are able to address the various needs necessary. Our seventh point that we deal with is one that we focus on our core competency while working with our partners. One of the things that Avenues for Justice understands is that we have many other organizations here in New York City that we can partner with, that they specialize in various things, such as mental health. We go out and we seek out other partners that can address those special needs. We're just not equipped sometimes with the serious demands that mental health might have. So we make those connections. We also make connections as far as businesses who might want to hire some of our young people. That's what we do. We make partnerships with various schools so that if a young person is not in school, but we can get them in there, hopefully a little more efficient and more quickly than in other places. Those are the things that we provide. And as was mentioned, we do court advocacy, mentorship, and intense case management, all the while keeping the young person informed, as well as the courts and whoever else is necessary. Now, this is key, our eighth point. We measure impact with data and success stories. Unfortunately, we always have to keep data. That's what our funders look for. That's what most people look at. Data. That's why we know that 95% do not go back into the criminal justice system once you're done. But also, we look at success stories as well. Those are the things that tell the true picture. It personalizes our young people. And we have, throughout the years, many very good success stories. In fact, we have someone on staff who's a court advocate who years ago was a participant. And they're doing now quite well, and now they're helping others to get their lives straight. Those are the success stories that numbers don't necessarily tell. And we pride ourselves in just that. And so these are some of the programs that we do. Court advocacy. We actually each week send the courts letters or reports of how a young person is doing. That way no one is surprised. And we tell the young person, you write your report. And so they are invested in it. And so that's what we do in that regards. We have the Hire Up program that both those who are court involved, those who are returning home citizens, as well as those who are preventive or at risk, participate in. What is it? Well, some of the things are digital literacy. We have an online digital literacy that goes over 14 different modules from Microsoft that our young person can also achieve 14 different certifications that better enhance their lives. We also do job readiness, teaching them the soft skills as far as working. Internship programs. We are also placing young people to get their foot in the door to learn how to work by means of internships, in which we actually pay the young person, which is also helping the businesses in the community. We also teach legal rights and responsibilities. Teen empowerment, giving them a platform to talk about the various issues that are going on. And that's our young people feel invested in what is going on. We also teach a cooking class. Now, I was shocked to find out how many did not know how to cook until the pandemic happened and they couldn't go to the fast food places. That became very valuable for our young people in that regard. We also host certifications such as the OSHA, scaffolding, site safety, giving our young people some certifications that they can better support themselves as far as employment is concerned. Food handlers, also we have to teach. These are all avenues for the Hire Up function. And as was mentioned, we look for positions or jobs that our young people can attain, not just in hospitality or in retail, but in other aspects. Here, occupy,
thus not going back into the criminal justice system. We also work with those who are in short-term through family court. They might be with us for 3 or 4 months, but once they finish their mandate, well, their case is actually closed. And that is beneficial for that young person. Thus, they can continue on to get perhaps student loans. Because if they have a case, all right, and they're convicted, that can prevent them from doing such. Various jobs that could prevent them from having. Living in certain places that could prevent them. So it's essential what we do in that. And so as was mentioned, these are the court advocacies that we do. We strive to get the youthful offender status, get it either dismissed or reduced with probation. And as we have our headquarters is actually in the criminal court building. That's giving us easy access to the various courts around, whether that be family court, the youth part, Supreme Court, or criminal. So this is something that we've been doing for over 40 years. And then as was mentioned, our Higher Up program that we do to civil rights and responsibility. Mental health is another thing that we teach to break the stigma that might have and help our young people as well as parents seek out mental health. Financial literacy, we've partnered with various banks so that way they can teach the importance of financial literacy. And all in all, mentoring as well. These are the locations that was mentioned. We're located in Manhattan Criminal Court. We have a center in the Lower East Side, also in Harlem as well. And these are some of the numbers that we're doing. As was mentioned, we have been quite successful in doing such. So that is as far as our PowerPoint. Is there any questions anyone might have in regards to what I asked? And then I can go into detail on some other things as well. Well, as was mentioned, we've been around for over 40 years. We have definitely grown. We serve close to 400 individuals per year. And so we're proud of that as well. We've built a good relationship with all the courts, as was mentioned, and hopefully helping our young people not go back into the system. Another thing that we've noticed is that after 6 years, as we do our research, we found that we dropped a little bit to 93%. 93% of our young people do not go back into the criminal system. So we're proud about that as well. Any questions that anyone might have?
Thank you, Gamal, for a wonderful presentation. If anybody has questions, please type them in chat or Q&A, and we can address those. Also, Gamal, if you would like to type your email in chat, you don't have to, but if you want to, people can take a screenshot in case they have
Absolutely.
questions later.
So that's my name and my email address. Feel free to email me, and I can send you more information or gladly talk more about our organization. And like I said, we're very proud of the work that we do.
It doesn't look like we have questions right now. Let's wait like 1 more second. Thank you all so much for attending. We have panels going on till the end of the day, so please check our program on the website, and you can attend other sessions if you're interested. Thank you. Thank you, Gamal. Bye-bye.